Okay, so after I finished filming most of the footage for the part 2 of the cage build, I realized that like most of the stuff that I filmed was with the phone this way. So I'm not gonna be able to flip the images unless you want to watch a video completely sideways, but I don't think you guys want that. So basically what I'm gonna have to do is make this video with most of the footage sideways. I know it kind of sucks, but whatever. I'm still new to this whole vlogging thing. But yeah, that's that. Most of the video is sideways. I'm gonna finish it up with some stuff properly done. So yeah. So for those of you who are thinking of making a roll cage or building a roll cage for a single cab truck, this is my main hoop. I bent this up this morning. Took me 3 tries to get it, but came out super nice. Tucks away, like literally can't fit a finger between this. So I'm gonna have to cut holes through the floor to weld my roof bars. But that's okay. I'd rather have a really tight fitting cage. But yeah, what I was gonna say is, if you're thinking about building a roll cage for a single cab truck, make sure that you're either like short enough that your seat can be pulled forward, because if you look here, I've got my seat like as far back as I can. It doesn't stick out of the window or not, but like there's not much room like for me to put like a diagonal cross on this main hoop here. And yeah, the harness bar is gonna have to be like tucked back. So whatever you do, just think about that, because that's gonna save you a lot of problems if whether you can start off your project with an extended cab truck, or just, I don't know, if you're short enough that you can figure that out before you start building a cage. That would be good for you, because I'm realizing now that it's not going to be super easy to get this to fit. But yeah, so far the cage fits really nice, and I mean, if for some reason that the cage doesn't fit perfectly with my seating position, I don't really care. It's still going to be safer than not having a roll cage. And I mean, a lot of people drift without roll cages, and a lot of people drift with roll cages that are so short that their head sticks out. And I mean, my head doesn't stick out from the roll cage even though I'm sitting far back where the main hoop is. So I'm not too worried about that. And I mean, I've tried to swing my head and I'll hit my head on the door frame before I hit the roll cage itself. And yeah, so not too worried about that. I wish I could put the main hoop a bit further back, but I guess that's gonna have to do. But yeah, if you see up here, it's super nice. So yeah, that's it. So for the tubing notch part of this cage build, basically I don't have a tubing notcher, and I don't really want to buy one because a lot of people are saying it's not really worth having, just because it's either shitty to use or not worth it. But basically what I did to get a pretty damn good fitting notch all around is I figured out what the angle for my diagonal bar for the main hoop was going to be at, and I got 39 degrees. So I set my protractor at 39.1, which is pretty fucking close if you ask me. And yeah, I just pretty much sort of eyeballed it and went at it with a grinder. Obviously it's not the fastest thing, but it's also not a $400 tube notcher, so I'm okay with taking my time and doing this way. So when you're when you're cutting out your tube notches, a good little tip, like say this piece of tubing's a little bit too long. And if you want to just like trim it up so that it's going to end up fitting nicer, like right now it's not parallel with the other one. If you want to just trim it a little bit, like little at a time, to make sure you don't overcut, a little trick that I found is you just take either a Sharpie or I took a paint marker and just trace the line all the way around my notch. That way I know once I don't see the line anymore as I'm grinding away, that's when to stop. I mean, it's a pretty simple trick, works really good, so yeah. Grinding away, doing your notches for the tubing, most of the times it's not going to come out like really all that great with a grinder. So what I did is I took out just a piece of wood that was close enough to being 1.5 inches in diameter, and I took some spray adhesive and sprayed on the wood and some sandpaper to glue this. It's pretty rough sandpaper, it's like 30 grit sandpaper or something like that, and then you just use it kind of like a file to get it back to a nice round radius for your notches, and it's working pretty good. This one's a bit short though. I made this one like, it's like 1 inch long. I made the paper a bit longer, but if I was to do this again, I'd probably use like at least like a 4-inch long piece of wood, and it would do a really good tool. So probably end up making a new one of these at some point. But so this is how the cage is turning out so far, and if you look, it fits super tight. Can't fit my fingers, but there's still a gap, so you won't hear any rubbing metal to metal. All the notches fit super well because I took fucking forever to make them. I'll show you guys from the front through the non-existing windshield. I think it looks super fucking sick. My diagonal's not really in the corner where I would have liked it to be, but I mean my head's gonna be there, so fuck it. It's still gonna be way safer than not having a roll cage, and I think it looks super fucking cool. So yeah, and also it doesn't go all the way down to the corner of the floor, but I don't really give a shit because I'm gonna have to drill holes to drop this cage down and weld all the way around for the roof bars once those are going to be bent up. And if I weld it all the way at the bottom of the corner, this diagonal bar, well then I'm not going to be able to drop it through the floor. And I didn't want to make whatever you call them, like boxes to lift up the cage, because I mean I don't see the difference in having a box that raises your cage up or having your diagonal coming up this high. To me it all ends up being the same, so that's that. And like my lower door bar is probably going to catch somewhere a bit lower, or maybe, I don't know, some people say that it's stronger if you put all your connecting points together, but I might put it a bit lower, that way it supports that lower piece. I don't know, we'll see. There's not many places where I'm going to put dimple die gussets, but I think I'm going to do like over here, probably, like next to the B pillar to tie into the main hoop. I mean, there's not much room for me to put one here. I would need like 1/2 inch dimple dies or like 3/4 inch dimple dies, and I think that would just look silly. I'm probably not going to do any for there. My first door bar is made now, or door bar. Yes, side hoop, roof bar, whatever you want to call it. This is probably what took the most amount of time so far. Like, I've been working on this pretty much all morning, and yeah, it fits really nice. I don't know if you can see here, maybe through here, like it kind of needs to bend more on the bend where the A pillar meets the hood, but apart from that, it fits really nice uptight. I've got it as close as I can to the A-pillar. Because if you look here, I can't go any closer because this is part of like the I guess not the inside of the door, but like the body, I guess. So that's as close as I can go. But I mean, if you want a comparison, it's about an inch away from the A-pillar. So it's not like it's gonna need some massive fucking dimple dye gusset. I don't even have dimple dyes, so I don't know what I'm gonna do for that yet, because dimple dyes are expensive as fuck. But yeah, that's the first one, and hopefully I'll be able to replicate it for this side, but that'll go to tomorrow. So that's what's been done today. So the side hoops, roof bars, whatever you want to call them, are both notched and in. This passenger side one, the notch isn't quite perfect. It's not awful, but I mean, you can't really see here, but yeah, it's gonna need some sanding down and some fiddling around with to get it to fit right, but man, this looks cool. So I'm fucking happy with how that came out. Fits nice and high up there. It's out of the way at the feet. So now I'm gonna move on to making the dash bar and roof bar, or over the windshield bar, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So yeah, I guess you can see the notch from here better, how it's not all that great, but yeah, it's not that bad. I'm gonna get it as close as I can, and whatever little gap is left, I'll just be able to fill in. Like, as of now, if I was to weld it with a MIG welder, I wouldn't even care. But I'm doing it all TIG welded, so I want as small of a gap as I can have. But yeah, if you see here, like, obviously it's not welded in, so it's not sitting tight, but I'm as close as I can be here. There's not even an inch, there's maybe 3/4 of an inch at the most at the A-pillar. Over here, it's not touching the roof, but I mean, like, I don't know, I don't think it needs to touch the roof. So I'm super stoked with how it came out. Can't wait to start cutting holes in the floor to weld it in. That, or I don't know, I might take off the roof skin, I'm not sure yet. I'm not at that point, so we'll see when that comes. So I made the dash bar. It's not even tacked in yet, it's just holding with magnets. But yeah, I made the dash bar, which is like probably the easiest part so far to make. It's just a straight bar with 2 simple notches. The notches are not perfect, but they're not bad either. They're going to be very easy to fill in. Not much filling in, actually. And I made the top bar here just over the windshield. This one was pretty cool the way it came out. At first I was going to just make it like a straight bar like I did for the dash bar, but I made the straight bar and then notched it all out, and it was still too tight the way I measured it. And then I put it in, I was trying to jam it in, and I looked at it and I was like, something looks wrong. So I thought about it and I was like, it just looked weird, the fact that it was straight in the front and the way that it sort of, it was straight parallel, or like same height as the top of the side hoops, but then the main hoop at the back was sticking up higher than the side hoops, so it just made that look weird. So I figured maybe I'll throw in some bends. So I did. I put 10-degree bends on both sides, and now it brings it up, so it makes more sense because it's closer to the roof now, and it matches better with the look of the main hoop. It sort of makes more sense. Would have been even better, well, not really actually. Would have been the best to bend it some more, but then that would have meant I would have had to cut another piece, and as much as I would like for this cage to be the nicest, most perfect cage, I don't have the money or the time to be wasting that much tubing. I've already got like this tube that was used as a waste piece to make the side hoops. I've got the first main hoop that I made that was wasted. This piece is from the first bend that I made with the tubing bender. I don't know if I'm gonna edit that out. Maybe, if I feel like it. But yeah, I've got a bit of a wasted tubing collection. This is all the notches and little ends that I can't find a use for. So, and yeah, I've only got 4 10-foot lengths left, and I still have to do door bars and the rear braces. I'm gonna go get some steel tomorrow probably, and make some kind of plate that'll probably stick out, I'm guessing like this, come here and go down, sort of follow this angle. That way it's gonna have a bit of structural rigidity, I guess, because it's gonna have that corner, and I'm gonna make some gussets that go here, and yeah, that'll be that.